Welcome to RVU, an RV insider podcast where I will interview industry experts, icons, and influencers. Classes in session for all things RV. I'm your host, Angie Morrell, and today roll call is with Nic Martin, Vice President of Sales for all of Jayco and Entegra.
Yes, happy to be here.
Thanks so much for being here. So that's a lot. So tell me exactly, what does that entail, being over?
So that would put me over all the sales and product development for our Jayco towable and motorized divisions, and then our Entegra gas and diesel divisions. So I would say that's more of from a product side. That's going to work with our directors of product development, and as far as what goes into the products and the different things we do there. And then also on the sales side, I would have reporting through me would be all of our regional sales managers, national sales managers, people who are boots on the ground at your guys' dealership, at any of the dealerships we do business with, which is between both brands north of 300 rooftops.
Wow.
So we have about 40 guys that cover all of that distance. And then work with customers as well, depending on the segment. Clearly, our Entegra diesel sales reps are heavily involved with customers, and first maybe what the towable side of the business is. So.
Wow, that is a lot. So I can see how obviously the product design goes right into the sale, but that's a lot of different responsibilities, from building the product, developing that, and then doing it to sales. So what does a typical day look like in your world?
So I assume it's similar to yours. It varies from day to day depending on what we're doing that way. There's a good amount that's traveling out and visiting dealerships and meeting that stuff, but also really I'd say it's all centered around trying to drive the uniqueness you kind of highlighted in there of the product side being a bit more of a sales function, and our organization is a little unique as kind of do it as a counterbalance to the forces that take place within an organization. So we have somebody like Pat Carroll, for example, on our Entegra diesel line. He's the product director. He's part of the sales group, and he works with a product development team that doesn't report to him. He has to influence in that stuff of what his vision is, and it's taking the customer feedback and the input we get from our dealer partners and putting together a plan and working with our engineering and in any of the purchasing and all the different aspects of operations stuff going there to bring it into things. Sometimes it's fighting with dealers on the phone because we need to help get our customers taken care of, and really the bigger goal is what are we doing every day to make the product better, and what are we doing to what we would call sustainably grow sales, which sustainably for us is way less of a wholesale sales focus and more of a retail focus of how do we get and build the right products that customers want.
So you gave me the next question. What are you doing every day to make the product better? That's just a little question.
It has a couple of facets. I mean, we're coming through at this point, we will have been through model change on all of our different segments of stuff. So our Entegra diesel model change is always the very first one. It's online at our factory early in the calendar year. We got through May timeframe is when a lot of the gas motorhomes go through that, and then we just wrapped up towable model change. So a lot of it now is focusing on what kind of things do we want to tweak at floor plans, things in the mix there. I think it varies by segment because we cover quite a breadth of,
right.
Like I said, we have the uniqueness of our company is take a lot of pride in it. I think it represents a lot of things we have the number one travel trailer in the country by our metrics and most, and then we also are the number one 605 horsepower high-end production diesel motorhome. So a lot of that stuff on there, if people have been to an AIM rally, they've been to any of our ECOA events or any of the Entegra Homecoming, they've seen Pat Carroll does suggestion sessions. So a lot of that feedback is user related and customer, because they're using the units all at a significant portion of the time versus maybe what somebody that does a weekend camping and stuff does there. So we're constantly trying to drive value. I would say that we don't talk about price in terms of, we never want to be the cheapest. We never want to be, that's never what we set out to do. We want to provide the best value for customers in all the segments that we build. But it also has facets of, I just came from we do an audit, executive audit, where we pick random unit on a random line somewhere on our big Middlebury campus, and we go through and review the unit as if a dealer was checking it in. So some of that product is,
Oh, I love that.
what are we doing from, it's not necessarily driven of, hey, do we like this color, do we not? That's more from the facet of product of, hey, are we ever going to be able to install those graphics consistently? Hey, what do we got to do there? And trying to do some of the driving the product changes from both sides of it. So not just the sales side and, hey, we got to make them look good and we want to have them be value priced, but also how do we start building quality in, because that's a huge initiative for us overall.
That's great. One of the cool things I think as you talked is that literally a family can stay in the Jayco family their entire RV lifetime. So they can start with a travel trailer and then move up. You've got B, C's, everything, gas, diesel.
That's a huge part of what we think we offer that's unique to anybody in the industry. And I think that's kind of try to highlight. I think we do them all well, or we certainly strive to. And it is, we can, we've always talked about what this company was founded on over 50 years ago at this point. And, the tagline of generations of family fun, I mean, it's in our product line. You can go every step of the way, and it can be, or a family who's going through it there. Maybe mom and dad have an Entegra diesel, and hopefully we've given them a good enough experience that if their kids are looking to get into a unit, maybe not an Entegra diesel
Right.
yet, that they would encourage them to partner with us, because that's what we want to end up being about. Not just with our customers, but also internally as part of just our culture with our own employees.
Very cool. So tell me a little bit more about that audit. That sounded cool. So you just picked a random coach on the lot, and
So
what was the process
I
there?
would say from a bigger standpoint, I think everybody said, hey, quality, we're trying to get better at. We've put in huge investments into what we're trying to do from a quality perspective, especially over the last, I would say 3 and 4 years.
So can you give
Yeah,
us specifics on those?
We would have gone down, I think one of the unique things is when it came to the boom in COVID sales from a retail perspective, a lot of people in Elkhart County here went out and big CapExes on by building more production capacity and things like that. The only things we put in investments for were brand new PDI facilities we have one across the street here to go along with one that we have in our motorized campus. We've always, every Entegra diesel has always been PDI'd here, full PDI every single unit. And we worked towards 2 years ago getting to where we were PDIing every motorhome. So every Class C, anything that we were building that way. And as of October 1st of last year, we were PDIing every single towable as well that we're building here. So every unit that gets built here goes through that process. What's really awesome about it is we're coming up with more and more metrics. We were looking back through, when we see a spike, we track defects and what we're going through there. If we see a spike on a line, it's really cool to see, because that same unit 4 years ago, the way we were looking at it has changed so much. It probably would have had significantly more than that, but we're continuing to raise the bar. So like every time each of the lines has a setup of this is what their target is for the month, and we're tying compensation to that for them, which is something we started, I believe, in the last year and a half. It's usually as much as we can do that, it gets to that, and it's and then the bar continues. We keep moving it higher for them. Okay, now this is what it needs to get to, and so we started to build over the last 4 years a lot more data and getting better each day at it. It's still a long way to go. We talk about it a lot as we don't think of, hey, October is we got to the finish line. It's really just the new starting line of what are we going to try to do to raise the bar. The audits are something that, again, seems a little like it should be a common thing, but it's one of those that we implemented them, I believe, 3 or 4 years ago on the same thing. And it is, hey, not you pick the unit and we'll come tell you. You could prepare. It's
Let's just
pulling
go
the
find
unit in
it.
the morning. Let's
And
go
is that
find
a
it.
unit
And
that's sitting ready to go to shipping? Like, where is it?
usually that's what we try to get them to. It just depends on what's going on that production line there. But we go through, and so we'll have everybody from me, I'm representing sales and product side. Ken, our president, is a part of those. Our general counsel and our CFO are part of those, and it's along with the operations people for that line. So it's a really cool thing because we go through everybody red tape. This is what a dealer's seeing, and we come up the things you come up with in that kind of environment where and the operations people have embraced it over time. Nobody wants to feel like they're getting their work checked every time, but I think Paul's seen what change and things can come out of meetings like that, and everybody's aligned for the same goal. Because we want to make sure that we're building the best unit we can out of there. And we're far from perfect on it, but that's where highlight some of the CapEx and things like that continues to be where we're investing a lot of our dollars. And I think that's always a good representation of what you're really driving towards and what you care about.
So quality is top of mind, and we
Quality
see that
in
at the
all
dealership
aspects,
too.
from the product to and trying to do it, and quality of the relationships we have with customers, quality in the relationships we have with dealers, and quality of the relationships we have with the people that work here. So.
Oh, that's great. I know that you've got some exciting, everyone's waiting for the 37-foot Anthem. So
Me too.
I bet. I know that's going to be a great segment for your customers, just because that's, we've had a lot of customers that they've been driving the 45-foot rigs, which you're known for, which we sell all the time, every day. But then they may want to, as they get older, or, or even when they're coming into the market, they may just want something a little bit smaller to get into state parks and that kind of thing. So I think that's going to be a very good selling product for you.
We're excited for it. It's that Pat and the engineering team and everything did a great job. That at true Pat fashion, he wanted to go back through. There were some things he wasn't happy about from the storage aspects and things like that of the first one we did. So that's where we.
You know what? I think the consumer appreciates that, though. Why, if you know that there's something you can improve on it from the very get-go, let's just make it the best product when you put it out there. So
absolutely, and that's where we don't want anybody to have to pay for things that we didn't do there. So I'm really excited with the tweaks Pat's making to that, and so that's going to be huge. I think even for model year 24, we're into that second full year of the brand new dash, which is a huge deal. Just because
the dash is amazing.
The level of that project took, and I get the opportunity to beat Pat's pillow that he punches for when he was frustrated going through that, of seeing that through to the end to get it to the model year 23 stuff. And it's a significant change. That is literally from when it's Travel Supreme to Entegra. That's the same dash that had been in there. And
wow.
And that's one of those projects that, Pat is looking at it from what does it need to be today, but how is it also the platform for what it needs to be 5 years from now.
Right.
And, so the second.
So will that new dash give you the ability to update even further? Is that,
I think
that's what I'm reading
it's
into
a
that?
great platform to what we could do there further down the road as far as can't get into a lot of the things that Pat's
I'm trying.
but he's got but it's a platform for even more things down the road that we can do. And it's just designed from what's great about Pat and our Entegra diesel product, and is he owns an Entegra diesel, he owns an Anthem. And so he comes at it from a guy that is using these units, and he's going out every day. So that dash is designed to easy view, safe drive. Like, it is every angle in that thing, in every view spot that you have in that. Pat's thought through it, and that's how he designed it. Yeah. So excited to get our feet under us with that stuff. There were some things, there's hiccups when you get into projects like that in the first one. So as we continue to get better and better at that, and then some of the other changes for 24, are really on the Entegra diesel stuff. It encourage customers that if they haven't been a part of Entegra customers that haven't been a part of one of Pat's suggestion sessions, it's funny. Like
they're epic.
Yes, they're a little. He said you got to leave your feelings at the door.
That's right. They're not always PC, but they are fun.
Our general counsel cringes. He doesn't go to them anymore. But it's unique because you get to see it. So like at our Entegra homecoming event where we have owners come back here to the factory, we go through, and Pat kicks it off every year with going through, here's the changes for 24. And somebody coming in that's not a part of that family, that hasn't been through all that stuff, might, why is he talking about this shelf he changed here? Or why is he talking about these small tweaks here and the different things he does to the floor plans and everything? It's a huge deal to people in the room because that's their feedback that
right.
Pat has gone through there. And I think that's one of the things that when we look at our Entegra diesel product that I think separates us. I'm pretty confident when I said there's nobody that takes that kind of feedback directly.
And actually, I mean, I've seen companies take the feedback, but I don't always see the result. And when I'm doing my product videos, that's when I'm like, if I've been part of one of those suggestion sessions or comedy sessions, as Pat keeps them fun and light, when I see the suggestions implemented into the coach, into the new model year change, that's what really impresses me with Entegra, is that you take that customer feedback, not only are you listening to it, but you're actually putting it in the coach and giving the customers what they're actually asking for.
Pat's, if you've met him, he's unbelievably passionate about the product and the things that he does, and we're fortunate at Entegra to have a lot of those people that are very passionate about, whether that be in the customer service side, that are passionate about taking care of customers, or your guys' regional sales manager with us, Ted Cooks, is passionate about Entegra diesels as you can be. So we're blessed to have people that buy into what we want to accomplish overall, which is creating better experiences for customers and giving them the product that they ultimately want to buy. We're agnostic to it. I want to build the product that dealers and customers want to buy.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you absolutely did it with the Dash too. The Dash is, if you haven't driven an Entegra with the new Dash, you need to get yourself
Absolutely.
to National Indoor RV Centers. I'm going to do a little commercial.
That's
Wasn't my plan, but really it's phenomenal. I mean, the screen, it's so clear. It's as safety goes, as you're driving down the road, I don't think there's a better setup for being able to see everything around you and what's going on with the coach.
No, it's been great. It's been well received so far, and like I said, we're excited about it. And as somebody who's had an experience the first time I drove an Entegra of causing about $25,000 in paint damage to the side of it, anything that we do to make it easier to make sure I don't do anything dumb with them is something we want to do.
Yeah. Well, I always say whatever you can do to add features, safety features, cameras, whatever it is that keeps our customers in the coach longer is a win for both of us.
THIA by Proteng is a patent-pending advanced fire suppression system. In the event of an RV fire, the Proteng devices quickly and automatically disperse FM200, an extinguishing agent that covers the heat source and can prevent, suppress, and extinguish fires. THIA by Proteng systems are customized to each RV and consist of multiple self-contained devices that wind through specific areas of the RV that can be prone to fire. There's no better protection for you and your RV. Learn more at otrdistribution.com.
Tire blowouts can be catastrophic. That's why more and more RVers are installing RettroBand, a revolutionary wheel enhancement specifically designed for RVs. Gone are the days of worrying about a blown tire putting you and your RV at risk. RettroBand looks almost like a donut that sits inside the tire. In the event that tire bursts or loses a lot of air, the ring prevents the tire rim from making contact with the ground, allowing you to maintain control of the vehicle and get to a safe space. Learn more about getting peace of mind protection at RettroBand.com. Hi, I'm Angie with National Indoor RV Centers, and I want to introduce you to the first annual 2024 Music City Motorhome Expo, a VIP shopping experience. This event is the first of its kind for the RV industry. This boutique style event means no massive crowds, and attendees get exclusive access to be the first to see new 2025 model year, one-on-one time with manufacturers and industry experts, educational seminars, all meals, snacks, drinks, and campsites provided, and entertainment by Diamond Rio and Josh Turner. Remember, your registration fee will be applied to the purchase of a motorhome up to a year after the event. You won't want to miss the event that changes the way consumers shop for motorhomes. You hit on a little bit of 24, and I know you can't tell us much for 25, but give me a carrot, Nick. Some exciting things coming to us?
There should be. I think Pat has put in the initial product development, his finalizing of the list of what we're going to do there. I'd like to put him on the clock a little bit on the hook for one of these things, but I got to make sure we can see it through first. But we're definitely targeting a pretty significant upgrade in some areas that we've gotten as customer feedback. But I think the 24 is just really.
I know. The 24s are
there's
great.
Plenty to like
There's always, you just have to throw it out there because everyone. I know I guess for people that don't know is how far ahead you all are planning. So are all your changes in for 25 already?
So we would be planning. We plan certainly further out than even just on a model year to model year basis. We're talking. That when we turn in a product plan for 25, that is more of our team's filtering that list down. Okay, this is what we want to do. Engineering comes back. This is the hours it's going to take. This is what we can get done. So I'd say that planning is, if you told what it would take to do the ideas and things we want to do, I'd say we're 3 years at least out in those kind of things. But the timing really comes through. You get through model change, the coaches go through. Then that's where Pat's taking on the Entegra diesel side. He's going to sit down his big list of all the things he wants to do and going through and prioritizing what that looks like on the next side of it. So we do them in smaller windows, but that's more filtering down a much bigger list of where we want to get to on certain things.
I just always think it's interesting. Sometimes I can't figure out what year I'm in because we're talking about the current year. The next, we're always still in the year ahead, and then you're already looking to the next year ahead. So, and you're even looking further ahead than that. So, it gets a little confusing at times. So, you've been managing during this crazy market that we've been in. What do you see happening with the inflation, interest rates, all that?
I think it's certainly presented unique challenges amongst
We went from
many.
one unique challenge with COVID to now this next.
I think we're starting to see on the inflationary side of things, as far as what we were seeing, the craziness we were seeing the last couple of years, we've started to see level out to some extent. I would say in like towable units and stuff there, we're past a lot of significant increases. On some of the motorized stuff, there was still some later cycle things when you're dealing with the supply chains of auto OEMs and things like that were later cycle, I would say, from what I think most consumers were experiencing in the marketplace. But I think it's one of the things we're focused on at this point is trying to continue to push our suppliers and the people we do business with that. We're not willing to continue to do what happened the last couple of years and have to push on huge price increases to our customers.
That was my next question.
So it's unfortunately the way things were changing. It was so dynamic during. I hope we never have to see an environment that was that.
We
that
couldn't
was that
get anything,
way,
and then everything was costing a whole lot more.
Yeah, and so it got to just a crazy place with the input cost of everything and all the way through the supply chain. So we pushing really hard that where we were back in the mode and letting our suppliers know that we're back in the mode of price increases come by adding value to customers, and we're not in the business of trying to do that.
I love that. I love that.
It's much easier to sell it too than to have to say the price of this went way up. I think there's going to be things that who knows exactly what the changing dynamic of electric vehicles and things like that has to do with it more from the aspect of what do some of these companies invest in certain things, and what does that do to the price of generators and things over the next 4 or 5 years. But as far as we have seen good leveling out to some of that stuff, and I think the interest rate environment's unique for all of us for the shorter time span of, that's one thing that even unique to pre-COVID was we were used to interest rates being lower than what they are there. So I think there's certain ways we're seeing across other industries and everywhere, there's got to be a readjustment to that stuff. And I think we try to control what we can control. And I wish I had some input to what Jerome Powell
I wish I had a crystal ball and you could tell me, Nick, that things are.
But we try to navigate the best we can. Like I said, as we look at that stuff, we're really trying to focus on how do we get back into what is a normal rhythm for our business, which is the price goes up when you add more value to a coach. And that's not just for a crazy landscape like we had in the last couple of years. So.
No, that's excellent. So do you have any memorable Jayco Entegra customer experience that you can share with us?
That's, I've got a lot of them.
Good, bad, no.
All kinds. But no, I talked about, I always tell the story about, and I just did it recently in May, we have Entegra owners come back. So we had about just over 200 coaches here.
And that's for your homecoming event?
That's our homecoming event.
Do that every May.
Yep. So we'll introduce new model year product and have people through there. Story started to become a story to tell a lot there of the first time I was driving a coach over there, and I didn't know it, but I scraped a stop sign down the side of it. Well, one of the interesting.
Did you know it when it happened, or did you find out when you got there?
It was at the time, it was before I was on the Entegra diesel side. We had to take coaches over to the fairgrounds for it. So they bring some new coaches over. So we all hands on deck, all the sales guys, nobody had put transport in there. So we all hopped in the units and we driving them over there just to the Goshen Fairgrounds. It's 12 minutes from here. And I'm leading the way, driving through. It was a 40P Aspire. Just driving through.
You never forget those. You never forget your first, right?
It was a rainy day. I pull in and park, and one of the guys that works for me comes, opens the door of the coach, shuts the door behind me, and he's just looking at me. What can I do? He said, do you not know what you did? I said, no. He said, you scraped a stop sign down about 20 feet down the side of that coach. These things are the quietest riding. I just didn't realize it. He tried to convince me it was a surface scratch. And I think Dave Burkholder, our operations man, I think he's still laughing. Like, that's nonsense. So sure enough, they're shuttling us back, and you can just see the stop sign there. So it's right by the factory. So I tell that's like.
Have you signed that stop sign, Nick?
We're working with the city a little bit. I think I've proven it's a little too close to the road, which is the biggest. That's the next pandemic. Yeah. But it's I tell that story to a lot of customers at the event, and what was so fun this year is I joked about an update to that story the first night I spoke, and then the amount of people the next day out of the rally just showing me, hey,
their pictures,
come over here, show you a picture on the phone, like got it here. So I've got a whole club now that is like made me feel a lot better that like my first experience is everybody's done it at some point. So.
Yeah, we have a lot of customers that come in that think, they don't realize they've done that either. So they're so quiet, they're so big, you don't even notice.
But I'm continuing to fight to get stop signs further away from the road.
Yes, I think that's important. That's important. So, it's really expensive stop sign.
It is. Yes.
How many colors of paint did it go through? Well, Nick, at NIRVC, we are all about the RV revolution in that we are working hard to improve the industry and advance it in any way that we can. What specifically are you doing at Jayco and Entegra for the RV revolution?
Well, I think we hit on a big portion of that stuff, which is really the serious approach to quality and trying to meet customers' expectations. And that's as much for the end customer we're thinking about that when we're doing this, as much to make it easier on you guys too, that when a coach comes in and what we need to do from that aspect. We're also working on things with Steve Claude, our Vice President of Customer Service, is constantly trying to get better every day at what we're doing from a parts perspective and cutting down, and we're measuring a lot more things to cut down lead times and what it takes to get parts so we can get customers going there. So I'd say that's a huge focus of what we're going to do. And one of the key things we're always trying to do, and this is one of those things like quality that goes through every level of what we want to do as an organization, from customers to dealers to the people that work here, is we're trying to be easier and more frictionless to do business with. So that's from the aspect of can we be aligned with what we're getting from you guys from the ordering product standpoint and what you need from a customer service standpoint. Can we be easier to do business with for our end customers who are going through, whether it be needing something for warranty or things like that. And some of those things, there's a lot of facets to what we're doing to try to drive those things. Some of them are data driven. That's when you talk about a company that's over 50 years old, we're rooted in a lot of what this company was built on from a culture standpoint. But we also have to continue to grow, and so we can be around for another 50 years.
Yep.
So it is getting into looking at data and certain things that maybe we weren't doing 5-10 years ago here, and really starting to measure more and evaluate more. So with the end goal of providing a better experience for both of our customers, you guys, and for our end consumers.
Well, we definitely think you're doing it. We definitely love the partnership with Entegra and National Indoor RV Centers. So we love to see you guys growing and serving the customers and increasing quality. All those things are going to be great for the end users. So, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, Nic. I can't tell you how much we appreciate you being with us here today. If you'd like to learn more about the topics that we've discussed today, make sure you click the links below on the episode description. If you've enjoyed the podcast, then help us out. Share it with a friend, write a good review, and of course, always subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. Make sure you tune into our next episode so you can see which industry expert, icon, or influencer is up next. Until then, class is dismissed, and we'll see you down the road.